Shabbat Shalom, all praises to the Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is April 29th, 2017. This is Yalak, and my lesson here today is titled Building Zion with Blood. And this lesson is coming out of some things I've been talking about recently about crimes against Israelites. And this is dealing with some of the more older camps that have certainly set themselves up based on evil, and they prey upon the children of Israel who are returning to the Most High. And they fight against all of us who are returning, who have decided to just try to find the Most High from the, deepest intent in their heart to return to the commandments and just to share the message as well, and just to live, from what they find in the scriptures, and they just don't want any kind of garbage and so on. They just want to live right and learn how to live right, learn how to keep the commandments and prepare themselves for returning to the land and the heritage that the Most High promised unto us. Some evil camps have found it necessary to fight against as many people as possible that promote purity, the commandments, living right, and so on, and have determined through selling themselves unto evil to resist what one might call true righteousness, because they thrive on evil and they don't want anyone to stop them. They don't want anyone to get in their ways, and have become a true stumbling block in Israel for those of us who just want to find the Most High. Life has been very tough for a lot of us, and as we know, our people have been in captivity for a very long time, and it is quite disappointing to find that there are some teachers out there who are operating in ways that are just based on evil, where they have sold out unto others who have trapped them. They allow themselves to be trapped. And so everyone needs to watch who they're dealing with. They need to watch themselves, how they operate, and so on, because the evildoers are very crafty. Look here and see that no matter how much you just want to learn more about how to live right and to follow the Most High, attacks are going to come against you. And one of the things I've noticed is that after leaving the Christian church, I wasn't an idiot to think that everything's just going to be all sweet and righteous in this Israelite community. I wouldn't be that dumb. But the level of evil was actually more shocking than I thought. I know we're all just people and people have their issues and so on, so I thought it would be, mainly that, and that the deepness and the rigidity of the evil wouldn't be quite so in your face as often as it is. I found that it is actually worse, and it stinks even more. So it's not a case where, you're driving by and you smell some dead animal on the road, and from a distance you smell it, and if you're going to turn, it's not that strong of a smell. But if you aren't turning and you have to go straight past it, it really fills up your car a lot. And you're trying to turn on the air, and it's really bad, and you just can hardly wait until you go a little bit more past it so that you're getting some fresh air to get away from the stench of it. And that's what I found here in this Israelite stuff, that it's not just the occasional smell that you might find. It's like you have to pass by it so often. And even when it's not something that you're dealing with, you're hearing about it with someone else, and every now and then someone's coming up talking about what some of these evil camps are doing. And it's really sad, and the Most High is looking at all of this. So every one of us have to find their own solace in the Most High, and support each other as well. But personally, individually, you have to have your own relationship with the Most High and not be sold out, or not be captivated, I should say, by those who just look righteous, by those who just look that they are strong teachers. Because some of the most wicked are the more educated in the scriptures. They are the more knowledgeable in Torah. And I've been thinking all week that some of these people that have so much knowledge of Torah, they have Torah in their mind because they have learned it a lot. It's like it's not in their heart, but it's in their mind. It's kind of like the old saying, you know about God, but you don't know God. Because you have some head knowledge of him and you've studied a lot, you maybe went to some theological seminary and so on, and you know certain things about the Bible, but it's not in your heart. And so some of these so-called camp leaders, which are not really Israelite camp leaders, they are evil camp leaders, they have Torah knowledge in their head, or in because they have learned it for so long, they've studied it for so long. They have a large library collection in their house and sometimes in their place of meeting, wherever they meet, where they run their camp from. And so they have access to a lot of books. People share a lot of books with them. They share a lot of books with other people. And they're just well set because they've been around for a long time, like 20, 30, 40 years. And they have received some such gifts passed on to them in the form of books or direct knowledge taught to them from the other elders that have probably some have passed on by now. And so they have a lot of this knowledge of Torah in their head, but that's where the Torah stays. It doesn't, because when you study Torah, it's supposed to find your heart. When you hear it through your ears, it goes through your ear canals. It's supposed to go through and go in your head and so on, but then it's supposed to go down in your chest, might I say, if I can make it physical, and find your heart. But we find that with some of these evil camp teachers, Torah doesn't go through their ear canals and in their head and go down to find their heart. It goes down searching, but it can't find their heart. It's like Torah gets down there in their chest and like, what? The heart was supposed to be right here. It's like the Torah is looking around. They can't. So the Most High is like, what's going on here? It's the same thing he was asking Adam. Who told you were naked? Adam, where art thou? It's not that the Most High, the Creator, didn't know where Adam was. But obviously he's asking, what's the situation here? Like, how could this have happened? What did you do? How did you allow this to happen? Why did you do this? And so Torah is kind of like, sometimes I imagine asking this question, where's the heart? So it went down from the head through the neck and it went down in the chest looking for the heart, can't find the heart. And so because it can't find the heart is somehow, the heart is in the same place, but it's just been covered over by so much evil and selling out to evil that the Torah is like, the heart, it's supposed to be right here. It's like, it just can't find the heart. So it just remains, it just remains in the head. And so they teach all the time from this Torah knowledge in the head, but their heart has not been converted. And so you got to watch yourself from these people who are teaching in some of these evil camps. And they try all kinds of ways to disturb and prey upon the rest of us who just wants to find the Most High and to share the message with others around us, your friends and your family and so on. They prey on you because they don't want you to find the truth and to find that, we all should be seeking the Most High and living righteously and so on. They want to tell you how to live righteous, and their righteousness is just based on pure evil. And they find ways to hit at you, anyone who seems like they're going to rise up, anyone that they seem like, that seem like the Most High is using them and so on. You're going to always be speaking stuff occasionally that will offend these people because it's not you generating these things. It's the Most High speaking through you because, these evil camps think that you should only be talking about some things like we are the children of Israel and so on and stop there. They don't want you to address anything evil that they're doing because they don't want to be exposed. But it's not you choosing to expose them. It's the Most High. He's raising up people here and there to speak about these things. And so they hit back and they try to fight against you, right? And just to show you that it's not just us today dealing with this stuff, but way back in the Bible, even David himself here in Psalm 55, verse 12 to 14, he's saying, for it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me, then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my guide and mine acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and walked unto the house of the Most High in company. And so you find in the company of Israelites, you have a certain group that have sold out unto evil and sold themselves unto wickedness in Israel. And they prey upon others, and they try to do anything to discredit you. They try to talk down your teachings and try to show how you are false in your teachings when they are the real false ones. And so they're fighting against you all the time. But these are just some real evil camps. Now, if we look here in Micah chapter 3, look at what it's saying here. Because, I have found, I got some people telling me all of these camps are wicked, and nobody should be going to any camp. Now, I appreciate what they say, and, I have considered that, but to be honest with you, I just can't actually approach it that way, but I know what you're driving at, I know what you're getting at. But if I look and I see certain things that maybe decide, that this or that camp is run based on wickedness, because they got some evil brothers in there with evil teachings and bad intentions, just based on what I see, even from a distance, then it's the same way that I can look, and when I see some camps that all I see are good things about them, good reports and so on, and these people are sincere, the teachers are sincere, and the people around them seem sincere, and those that I've communicated with that are in their camps are very sincere and so on, then I have to say to them, I have to say about those camps that those are good camps. And I like that. So I'm not one to say all these camps are even. No, I'm just talking about, thank the Most High for the ones that are good camps, and that it would be a pleasure to visit and so on. But I'm just talking about the evil ones. And usually, unless you are very, very new, after you've been around a while, you start to know which camps are evil. Even if you don't have anything to do with them, and even if you've never been a part of them, you can just tell that something is wrong with this or that camp. And that's how it started out for me. When I just left the Christian church, I was just simply learning what was out there and learning from everyone, from the videos, right? And some have websites as well. Not everybody has websites. And I just started to get the sense that no, something's wrong with this camp. Some kind of spirit that they carry is just not right. And that's just how it started. It wasn't like I knew all kinds of stuff and so on. I could just tell they're evil, and it should be spoken about. It should be spoken about. See, one of the problems with ancient Israel is that not enough Israelites were getting up and speaking out against the evil. Not enough, and not all the time. Now, sometimes there are some points where they did complain about some things, but most times it was a prophet that had to be risen up to speak against the evil. Now, if all the Israelites, or most of them, were getting up and complaining and fussing all the time when the leaders are doing something wrong, like the priests and so on, and when the scribes are messing with the text, if all of them are like, hey, but 100 years ago, that's not what the text says. You're corrupting the text and so on, and you're corrupting the name of the Most High and so on, and you're changing. If all of them were complaining, then it wouldn't have been as easy for them to get away with it, with what they were doing. And when the king was putting in some new alliance with some other heathen king that was going to let them bring in false gods, if the rest of the children of Israel were crying out against these things and against these kings, they wouldn't have gotten away with it as easily as they did. And so us today who are returning Israelites, when you find out about this stuff, you must speak out, because it's going to affect you as well. Because see, if you learn under these evil teachers from these wicked camps, it's going to do something to you. It's going to change you. So you must find the teachers that are more righteous, that are making every effort they can to do what is right. And when they slip and they fall in their own personal lives, they repent. And you know they repent because you can tell that by the way that they carry themselves, by the way they teach, because you don't know them personally. You're not even living probably in their city. But you can tell that this or that brother running that camp is a righteous brother. He's got his wife and his children at home, and he's got some very good followers around him. And you know, in his personal life, he makes every attempt to correct things in his own personal life and his affairs in this life. He makes every attempt to do righteous things and repentance and so on. that's a brother you can follow. That's a camp you can follow. But there are some that are just wicked that, no, they never desire change. They never, actually, the only change they desire is that you will change and come over unto wickedness with them. So, yeah, you gotta speak out about those things. I'm not saying jump into it real fast when you're young and early necessarily. Take your time and learn and so on. And when that push for righteousness and crying out against it comes into you, you must release that word. You must speak it. Do not hold it back. Because that's just going to be the Most High working through you. You must speak. So Micah chapter 3, verse 7 to 11. Then shall the seers be ashamed and the diviners confounded. Yea, they shall uncover their lips, for there is no answer of the Most High. A lot of times I've heard these camps from I came in, and they talk about scriptures like this and scriptures from Obadiah and certain parts of Isaiah, like and Jeremiah. They're talking about the judgment of the nations when they use these scriptures, because they're like eschatological or end time kind of scriptures or prophecies. But reading this even this morning, I got to realize these scriptures are actually showing me something also about these evil camps that say that they are Israelite camps. You wonder if they are more Esau camps. I mean, I know you want to say to me, with the integrity of the scripture, that these are prophecies dealing with heathen nations and so on. But there is no way for you to deny that something does not strike the mind when you read these scriptures that let you see that these are the kinds of things that are happening within Israel, within these evil camps. And so now when I think of it now, it brings me wisdom and understanding of how to operate and carry myself. When you see here now, the diviners will be ashamed and confounded. When you're dealing with these diviners, they're like teachers as well, because, I mean, someone who's doing divining, they're going to come back and teach anyway, right? So these are still leaders. So when you deal with this word diviners, it's talking about to practice divination and dealing with false prophets. So that's still a leader or a teacher, right? And it's saying that they're going to be confounded. But there's no answer from the Most High. And you know that when you just came in as an Israelite, you might have learned from some of these evil camps because they're so out there and they've got a loud voice. At this point, I'm not saying a loud voice in terms of being annoying. I mean, sometimes they are, but that's not the point right here. Not loud in terms of annoying, but just loud in terms of they've got some presence, so you can easily find them. And you start learning from them, you're learning from them. But after a while, you have some burning questions that you just want to know because you're learning, right? You just want to know. But you also have some personal issues that you're dealing with in your life. And they don't give you any proper answers to those things. So you can't quite fix up your life the way you should, and you also can't understand certain things from the scriptures the way you want to, because they give you some really dumb answers that's just designed to keep you submitting unto them all the time. And so that question that you have still remains in your life, and you are unsettled in this or that area because you don't get any proper answers from them. If they are speaking from the Most High, it's then like you aren't getting an answer from the Most High, because they don't satisfy something in your soul. Because for you to be satisfied means growth for you, means wisdom for you, means understanding and knowledge for you, and you're going to start to see the evil of their ways, and eventually you're just going to mature and grow away from them. They don't want that. So they make sure you get no answer from the Most High, like it's saying here in the last part of verse 7. So that you are always dependent on them. Because an answer from the Most High establishes one. It gives you stability in your life. It gives you wisdom, understanding. It makes you grow and so on. And you can more see. Your eyes are more opened. They don't want that. So they give you teachings that relate to no answer from the Most High, because you are always supposed to be relying on them. Verse 8, but truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Most High, and of judgment, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin. And that's exactly what a video like this is designed to do, to add to all the others of us who are speaking out, whether you're making videos or just speaking on a blog or so. Yeah, we should be crying out telling Jacob about their sins and these wicked camps. That's a big part of that. Because what I've noted is that the average ones of us, we are just trying to find the Most High and just trying to spread the message of our identity to others that we're hoping will wake up sooner than later. We find that some of these wicked camps, they're more focused on cursing the white man and telling the white man how evil he is and telling these other nations how evil they are. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be declaring those things, because truth is just truth. But the thing is that they spend so much time talking about the evil of those things. They never focus on how evil they are. They never talk about how they have fallen. They never talk about their weaknesses. I mean, even David talked about, how he struggled and so on, and they never present some kind of and that's why in some ways, I don't want to go too far with this point, because they're clearly a problem too, but you've got some pastors in the Christian church who will talk about how they have struggled. Even in our black Christian churches that we came enough, you've got some of them, especially the mega pastors of our people. The reason why some of them have launched out so great to having very large reach and large local congregations where they're at is because they've exposed their struggles in life to some extent. They've exposed the things that they've struggled with and dealt with. And so you get some kind of a realness of them. So people will sit and listen to them. And some of these evil camps that call themselves Israelites have so much focus on bashing these Christian churches and Christian pastors, even of our people, instead of taking some time to learn some wisdom from them in how they've carried themselves. Then maybe they would have been more appealing to some of these Christian pastors. But they make it sound like these Christian pastors will never come and they're just evil and evil, when they're the ones that are as evil too. Because the Most High says He's going to gather us all. He says you're going to serve idols of wood and stone, and He's going to come and gather us. That means, people, that when He sent us to live in these religions, in these strange lands, and to eat bad food, corrupt food, and so on. So when He gathers us, He's going to come and find a people who are consuming bad food, which is why in the wilderness He's going to clear up that stuff, and one's going to try to find a rat to eat and so on, because you were eating it. Just like in Israel, in Egypt, they were doing certain things that were not right, and in the wilderness it was being driven out of them, but they were resisting. But the Most High says, now I'm going to plead with you in the wilderness to get these things out of you. And when He comes to gather us, like in Isaiah 11 and 12, it's clear that some of us too are going to be in false religions, but He's going to gather us. Why? Because He's coming to save. That's what He says. He put you into locked you into these false religions because our forefathers chose it. And some of us don't know any better. So thankful for some of us who are waking up. But when the Most High comes to gather us, some of us are still going to have these religions in our hearts. Buddhism and all the other ones that are out there. Some of us are going to still have those things, but He's going to gather us because He said He's going to do it for His name's sake, to get the people that He was. And then He's going to be showing us the right way, because not all of us are going to come over right away before the Most High gathers us. Not all of us. Because you can read in the scriptures that's talking about in the wilderness how He's going to be pleading with us and so on. It's because there's some things that we have that are not right. So obviously He's going to gather up people, His nation, that still, some of us are still living wrong. So when they are cursing these Christian pastors, I'm not saying they shouldn't be saying anything wrong about the Christian teachings and the Christian pastors of our people, but some of these pastors are our own people. And they just don't know the right way. And if you keep cursing them past a certain point, because you got to say certain things, of course, but past a certain point, you just turn them off. They don't want to hear anything you have to say. Anything. I was just in the supermarket yesterday, and I was sharing some of this Israelite knowledge and of our identity with actually a minister from one of the churches I used to attend when I was in the Christian church. This was a person who was a minister in the church. Now, they're not at that particular church anymore I used to go to. And they were resisting me at first. And then you got other of our people that were standing around listening too, right? And this is in the supermarket, and here am I talking. And they were resisting at first, but then finally, after a few minutes, I said, yeah, well, hear me out. And after I got to a certain point, they're like, it hit them. It hit them, and then they couldn't deny, right? But if I'd stayed there now and started cursing that minister just because they are a Christian and knowing that they are of our people, I would not have gotten anywhere. So you have to learn some wisdom, and just to stay there and cursing out your own people when you should be trying to show them love and care and concern. If they are your people and you know they're just lost in the Christian teachings, have some patience with them and don't rush to cursing them. So verse 9, hear this I pray you, ye heads of the house of, and by the way, that minister there wants to talk with me again. And you see, you don't understand that some of these people who were even cursing me and fighting against me behind the scenes, you don't know them, but you don't know any details of it. They don't understand who I am. Not like I'm tooting my horn or anything, but I spent a lot of time in the Christian church. I've been a member of a couple of different organizations, but I've also spent time in many other Christian organizations that I wasn't actually a member of. And I have met a lot of people over the years, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Many thousands of people have known me over the years from different church organizations in the Christian church. Right? I was always one to sit on the on the rostrum. I was always one like that because I did the sound, and I played the drums as well. And I was in Bible college and I preached and stuff like that. Helped to run youth departments, things like that. And so I was always an upfront person. Lots of people have known me over the years. I've preached in, for what I call was a small amount. I still got my chances to preach and so on. A lot of people know me, and a lot of pastors I've met over the years that want me, that wanted me in their churches, right? As much as I was just so young, a lot. And so a lot of pastors out there know me, some of our people, some not, right? A lot. And even the ones who are not of our people, they've got our people sitting in their churches. So when you find these evil camp leaders just cursing and fighting some of us, they are actually stifling the growth of some of us who give in to them, and they are actively resisting the work of the Most High. Because here now you get a brother like me, because I'm not in a camp, I'm supposed to be cursed. Yet I'm in touch with so many pastors. So when the Most High decides it's time for me to move on a different level, like even just started yesterday, where this actually minister I got the chance to talk with, and then now they are inviting me to go and inviting me to come and talk to another pastor. You see? So instead of me, I'm not one to go out on the street per se and just yell at the street corner, right? But then the Most High selects his people to do different things. So now you get someone like me, the moment I decide to stand and step out, I get invited to the top, to the elite, might I say then, in churches, which should be the pastors. So I run right up to the pastor level of dealing with pastors and leaders. You see that? Yet these brothers are cursing and fighting some of us, and they don't know how the Most High is using the rest of us. They want us to fall in line with them, but no, the Most High uses different ones of us differently. So these wicked camps are fighting against the growth of Israel, the return of Israel, and what the Most High is doing, because they only want you to operate their way and to come under their leadership. Like they don't think other people have different skills. Somebody might operate differently. Maybe somebody has always been in sports clubs all along, and then they find out they're Israelite and they come. And their place of doing stuff might not be in a camp, but might be spreading the news that we're the children of Israel in the sports clubs that they are members of. And a lot of our people are probably in those sports groups. And so they might work effectively there as opposed to running a camp themselves. So you just never know. So when these evil camps are just forcing you to fit in a mold and to be like them and to come to their meetings alone, their camps alone, and function the same way they do and let them alone lead, no. Follow the leading of the Most High in the area in life where you will work and be more effective. So now, verse 10 and 11 from Micah chapter 3, they build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity, the heads thereof for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Most High, and say, is not the Most High among us? None evil can come upon us. And that's it, because they have sold out to evil. They feel that, things are going the way they're paid by certain people who are, helping them to be evil like this, and they feel that they're fine. Plus, they're getting your money from their trickery teachings that they give and so on, and you're supporting them. So they feel that they're fine. They're like, nothing's going to happen. We know all this or whatever, and we're tight with certain people in the city and so on and whatever. And so they feel that they're fine. No evil can come to them. But the Most High is the one who's going to be the final judge of all things. And if you look here at verse 10, Verse 10, they built up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. And so in closing, instead of them building Zion again with truth and with honesty and with care and concern for the rest of us that are returning, instead of building it with truth, they build it with blood. Because when you deal with blood, you're dealing with life. Right? And like the spilling of blood is wickedness. It's like you're killing someone. And so when they attack and they pray and find clever ways to tear down and to fight against those of us who just want to teach Torah and to wake up our people and so on, and who want to feed the rest of us, maybe who don't study enough or who are too new and need to learn, when they fight against those ones, and try to find clever ways to destroy those ones of us who only mean well. It's like they're trying to find ways to take you down, to destroy you. In other words, they're trying to shed your blood so that you don't survive to teach anymore and to share and to pray for the nation, because you get disinterested, you get disgusted with the whole thing. You just forget about this Israelites if you're gone back to your Christian church or your religion, or you just drop the Bible altogether. And so they've shed your blood, so to speak, because you get frustrated with how much evil there is in Israel when it's just those certain ones that are doing the evil. So they've shed your blood, but then they continue to build a Zion or a Jerusalem, so to speak, that is built on death. That's why it says they build Jerusalem with blood. And so from the evil tactics where they take down people or they fight against you and try to tell lies and scandalous things on you, and they build very good case to prove or whatever, they're just liars, because that's all that's in their heart. Because remember, their heart could not be found by Torah that was coming on from their ear canal and their head through their neck. The Torah was looking for their heart, but they couldn't find it because their lies were just filled with, their heart was just filled with all kinds of lies, so much so that it just covered up the whole of their heart. Torah can't even find their heart anymore. Can't even find their heart. And so they go on to build Jerusalem with lies, to build Jerusalem with deceit, to build Jerusalem with blood, because they are wicked. They are wicked, these camp leaders that are doing these things. Not all camp leaders, I'm saying, just keep that in mind. Only the wicked ones. And you know, if you've given time to listening to certain ones of these groups, you can tell which ones are wicked. You are supposed to know. Just by hearing it, you can tell if you listen to them long enough. Crimes against Israelites.